I drained our entire savings account this morning, all 300,000, because Mom deserves her dream house more than we need a safety net, my husband announced over breakfast, sliding his phone across the table to show me the completed wire transfer. The same man who had insisted I was too emotional with money when I'd wanted to loan my sister $5,000 for medical bills was now grinning like he'd just won a humanitarian award. Did he really think I'd survived 15 years in tech finance without learning to protect myself from exactly this kind of financial betrayal? You transferred $300,000. I repeated slowly, setting down my coffee cup with deliberate calm. Without discussing it with me. I knew you'd understand, Vera, Nathan said, already attacking his eggs Benedict. Mom's been living in that rundown apartment for too long. She sacrificed everything for me growing up. Sacrificed. Like when she'd sold Nathan's car, the one I'd bought him for his birthday, to fund her LM scheme. Or when she'd guilt-tripped him into paying her credit card debt from her third cruise that year. But pointing that out would make me the villain, as always. Which account exactly? I asked, though I already knew. There was only one joint account he had access to, our supposed emergency fund. Our savings account, don't worry, baby. With my promotion and your salary, we'll build it back up in no time. He reached across to pat my hand like I was a child who needed consoling about a broken toy. I pulled my hand back. The account we agreed required both signatures for withdrawals over 10,000. His face shifted slightly. Well, technically yes, but I called Rick at the bank, you know, my fraternity brother. He pushed it through as a special favor. Knew you'd be on board once I explained. Rick violated federal banking regulations as a favor. I kept my voice conversational, almost curious. Don't be dramatic. It's our money. I'm allowed to help my mother. Nathan's tone turned defensive, the way it always did when his financial decisions were questioned. Besides, it's not like you've ever supported her. Someone had to step up. I thought about the separate investment accounts he didn't know about. The ones I'd opened after the third time his mother had borrowed money from us. My grandmother, a woman who'd survived the Depression, had taught me young. A smart woman always has running money. You're right, I said, picking up my phone. Someone did have to step up. See, I knew you'd understand once you thought about it rationally. Nathan preened, missing my tone entirely. Mom's already put an offer on a place in Westchester. 5 bedrooms, pool, the works. She's planning to host Christmas there this year. Westchester, where houses in decent neighborhoods started at $800,000. Our $300,000 wouldn't even cover half. How exactly is she paying for the rest? I asked. Well, Nathan shifted uncomfortably. I might have mentioned we could help with the mortgage payments, just until she gets back on her feet. Gets back on her feet from what, exactly? She's never worked a day in her life. That's unfair. She raised me. With your father's alimony and life insurance, I interrupted, which she spent on psychics and cryptocurrency schemes instead of saving for retirement. Nathan's face darkened. At least she didn't abandon me like your parents. There it was. The trump card he played whenever I questioned his mother's financial vampirism. My parents had died when I was 22, not abandoned me. But Nathan knew the orphan card shut down arguments. Except not today. You're right, I said, standing up. My parents are dead. Which is why I had to learn early to protect myself financially. Speaking of which, I should probably call my lawyer. Lawyer? For what? Well, you just stole $300,000 from our joint account. That's theft, technically. Plus, I'll need to file for divorce, which means asset division needs to be handled properly. Nathan laughed. Actually laughed. Divorce? Over helping my mother? You're being ridiculous. Am I? I pulled up my banking app, not the joint account, but my personal Morgan Stanley portfolio. Let me ask you something, Nathan. What do you think I've been doing with my bonuses for the past 10 years? Shopping? Spa treatments? I don't know. Whatever you women waste money on. He was still smirking, so confident in his assessment of my financial habits. I turned the phone toward him. Actually, I've been investing. Started with my signing bonus from Goldman Sachs. The job you told me to turn down because wives shouldn't work longer hours than their husbands. Funny how tech stocks perform when you actually understand the market. His eyes widened as they scanned the balance. $2.8 million and change, not including the RSUs that hadn't vested yet. That's impossible. You would have told me. Like you told me about draining our joint savings. I pulled up another app. Oh, and this is my Fidelity account. Another $1.2 million, mostly index funds. Boring but stable. Nathan's face had gone pale. You've been hiding money from me. Protecting, I corrected. Not hiding. All legally declared on our taxes. Though you never actually rid those, do you? Too busy signing whatever I put in front of you. This is marital property. I'm entitled to half. Actually, I said, pulling up a document on my phone. Remember that post-nuptial agreement you signed 5 years ago? After your mother's gambling weekend in Vegas that cost us $40,000? You agreed that all individual investment accounts would remain separate property in case of divorce caused by financial infidelity. I was drunk when I signed that. You were hungover, I corrected, and you had a lawyer review it. Jeffrey from your squash club. He said it was standard and fair. The sound of my phone ringing interrupted Nathan's sputtering. I recognized the number, my lawyer, right on schedule. Helena? Yes, I'm ready to proceed. The withdrawal was made this morning. $300,000, just like we discussed, might happen. I paused, listening. Yes, I have screenshots of the transaction. And the text messages where he discusses it with his mother. Perfect. I'll be there at 10. I hung up and looked at my soon-to-be ex-husband. You might want to call Jeffrey. Let him know you'll need representation for more than squash injuries. Vera, wait. Let's talk about this. I'll put the money back. With what? Your mother's already made an offer on a house she can't afford. You think she's going to give it back? I laughed, but it wasn't bitter. It was almost pitying. Nathan, your mother has been bleeding us dry for years, and you've enabled it every step of the way. College funds for kids we don't have yet. Gone to her kitchen renovation. Our vacation savings. Funded her investment in essential oils. And now our emergency fund is buying her a mansion she'll probably lose to foreclosure within a year. She's my mother. And I was supposed to be your wife. Your partner. The person you built a life with, not the ATM you used to fund your mother's delusions of grandeur. My phone buzzed with a text from my assistant. The locksmith was our condo. Ready to change the locks as scheduled. Another buzz, the moving company confirming they'd arrive at noon. You're not seriously leaving over this, Nathan said, but his voice had lost its certainty. I'm leaving over 15 years of this, I said, gathering my purse. 15 years of being called selfish for wanting financial security. 15 years of watching you prioritize your mother's wants over our needs. 15 years of being told I'm too controlling with money while you hemorrhaged it to someone who thinks budgets are suggestions. Where will you even go? He was grasping now. That apartment's in both our names. Actually, it's in my name. You never bothered to update the deed after we got married, remember? Too much paperwork. I paused at the door. Oh, and Nathan. Your credit cards are all in your name only. I made sure of that years ago. So when your mother needs help with that mortgage payment next month, and the month after that, and every month until she inevitably loses the house. That's all on you. You planned this, he accused. You've been planning to leave. I've been planning to protect myself, I corrected. There's a difference. I love you, Nathan. I would have shared everything with you, if you'd ever shown me the same respect. If you'd ever once chosen our future over your mother's immediate gratification. My phone rang again. This time it was my real estate agent, confirming my viewing appointment for a penthouse downtown. All cash offer ready, no financing needed. The divorce papers will be filed this afternoon, I said. I'm asking for a clean split. I keep my assets, you keep yours. And your mother's house, apparently. Though I doubt the bank will be as generous when she defaults. Nathan slumped in his chair, the reality finally hitting him. No more joint account to raid. No more safety net funded by my careful investments. Just him, his middle management salary, and a mother with champagne tastes on a beer budget. Vera, please. I love you. We can work this out. You love what I provided, I said gently. Stability. Security. A responsible adult to clean up the messes while you played the devoted son. But that's not love, Nathan. That's exploitation. I left him there, sitting in the kitchen of the apartment I'd paid for, contemplating a future where his financial decisions had actual consequences. My phone showed 17 missed calls from his mother by the time I reached my car. She'd figured out the golden goose was flying away. By evening, I was settled in a suite at the Four Seasons, my laptop open to investment opportunities I'd been too conservative to pursue while tethered to Nathan's financial chaos. My lawyer had called to confirm the divorce filing and to inform me that Nathan had already tried to access my investment accounts. Apparently, he'd been rummaging through my home office before the movers arrived. He actually called Morgan Stanley claiming to be me. Helena laughed. Their fraud department was quite amused when they pulled the recordings. Your voice authorization setup was brilliant, by the way. I smiled, remembering how Nathan had mocked me for being paranoid about account security. The same man who used password 123 for his email thought biometric authentication was overkill. A text popped up from an unknown number. This is Nathan's mother. I know you're behind him cutting me off. That house was my fresh start after everything I've sacrificed. You've ruined my life. I screenshotted it for my lawyer and blocked the number. Then I poured myself a glass of wine. The good stuff I'd hidden from Nathan's dinner parties, where his mother would gulp down $200 bottles like box wine. The irony wasn't lost on me. Nathan thought he'd been providing for his mother, being the good son. In reality, I'd been providing for her all along, funding her lifestyle through our joint finances while building my own escape route penny by penny, trade by trade. My phone buzzed with an alert from my banking app. Nathan had tried to withdraw from our joint checking account, the one I'd left with exactly $1,000, per state law requirements. Enough to be fair, not enough to matter. I raised my glass to the sunset visible from my suite window. Here's to Grandma Rose, who'd taught me that a woman's best friend wasn't diamonds. It was a separate bank account and the wisdom to use it. Here's to 15 years of lessons learned the hard way. And here's to Nathan, who was about to discover that when you treat your partner like a bank, eventually they close your account. Tomorrow, I'd start looking for my own dream house. One where the only person with a key would be me, and where financial vampires, maternal or otherwise, weren't invited to dinner. Tonight, though, I'd simply enjoy the peace of knowing my money was safe, my future was secure, and my ex-husband was probably on his knees, begging Rick from the bank to reverse a wire transfer that had already been spent on a house his mother couldn't afford. Sometimes the best investment you can make is in yourself. And the dividends from that? They're paying out beautifully.